CBS network president, Leslie Moonves, said last week that he is considering approving a romantic comedy about two people who are brought together after their spouses are killed in the Twin Towers attack.
Leslie Moonves?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Well, remember that name, folks. He might be standing behind you in the unemployment line.
Moonves told reporters, quote, "Is it exploitive to do something like that? Not if it's handled properly," end quote. Although CBS hasn't made a decision on whether to give the go-ahead for a pilot to be produced, Moonves said, quote, "When appropriate, we shouldn't run away from it. You want relevance when it's appropriate," end quote. A romantic comedy set after the September 11th attacks. CBS truly doth have their finger on the pulse of the American emotions.
Yeah, you can just imagine the pastel colored title sequence, you know, with a kind of special effect with the Twin Towers and stuff, you know, and some cheesy song.
I mean, that is just...
They met when the towers fell, do-do-do-do, you know?
That's just sick.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you believe that they're even considering that? I mean, you expect some goofball in a $3,000 suit to walk in and sit down in an office and say, "Hey, I have this great idea about a romantic comedy after the World Trade Center collapsed." But then you would hope that other reasonable adults in the room would say, "Shut up." All right? Just, that's stupid. Next order of business, please. But yet the CBS network president actually considering it. Actually made it to the table, and he's actually thinking about that. Very nice.
You know, there is only one thing that's genuinely surprising, and that is that it wasn't Fox.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, Fox is considering a sort of a historic TV show. They're thinking about a romantic comedy involving couples who meet after their loved ones are lost in the Hindenburg crash.
Oh,
so yeah,
I see.
That's going to be
so
something a little bit.
They're going retroactive.
Yeah, they were just a little bit of flashback. You know, the Titanic thing and the whole retro movement. 7:21 on the Morning Brew. Let's get back to the newsroom and get more news from Chris Lawrence.
The voice of Charleston, WCHS Radio News.
Morning, everybody. I'm Chris Lawrence, WCHS Metro News. The first anthrax scare has hit West Virginia.
Chris Lawrence is here, and Chris has had a busy morning, so he hasn't had time to stop in. But
Don't believe your information. It's really not me.
okay.
Oh.
Do you have time for your Hank/Travis story?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. We
Well-
teased it at, what, 4:30 this morning?
Yeah, we only have a couple minutes left in the show, about 3 minutes. But
Well,
if
you know, it's gotten cooler, so they're having to start wearing jackets, and they both have denim jackets. And
well, we have to do this right. Wait a minute. It's time for the another Hank story.
People, let me tell you about my best friend.
Carry on. There we go.
Okay, I just had to follow the proper protocol there.
yeah, I understand.
Okay.
So they got denim jackets. Both of them have one. We bought both of them one. So Hank puts his on the other day, and he can't. He's like, "What's this?" And I said, "That's your collar, and you flip it up like this."
Collar.
Flip the collar up, and Trav looked at me and goes, "What is he, Elvis?" I said, "What are you talking about, man?" I said, "That's the way you wear the jacket." He goes, "Jacket?" He goes, "This thing doesn't even go down past my waist." I said, "That's why they call it a jacket." He goes, "And you flip the collar up?" I said, "Yeah, that's cool." He goes, "That was cool like in your generation." I looked at my wife and I went, "Okay, we've become our parents. Our kids hate us. They think we're a bunch of squares." And then I looked at him and I said, "Why don't you unlace your high-top tennis shoes and walk around with the pants, straight-leg Levi's stuffed down into the tongue and let it hang out?"
Oh, memories.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, he couldn't do that because the bottoms of his pants are so big and baggy that they'd swallow up his strange shoes. I don't even know what they're called anymore. He wears these odd shoes.
We've come a long way from zips, haven't we?
Oh, let me tell you. And Pony, remember those?
Oh, yes.
L.A. Gear.
And he always makes it a point to look at us when one of the greatest hits of the 80s comes on.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife and I are sitting there rocking like metalheads to Motley Crue. And he's going, "Did you guys listen to this back yonder when you all were growing up years and years and years ago?"
Ah, yes. That's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
funny.
that's true, Travis. I was alive when Reagan was the president. Yes, I was.
No matter how hip you think you are, your kids are always there to tell you otherwise. aren't they?
Absolutely. Don't ever think that you're still cool because you're not in the eyes of your kids. It can be reversed, though, because this is the point in life when I have the greatest power of total embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I can go, I could just show up at your school one day looking like this.
With Warrant album in the with the Warrant cassette in the pickup.
Exactly, with my collar turned up and my high-top turf shoes unlaced with my straight-leg pants stuffed down in them.
And your Winger tour shirt.
Exactly. My Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet t-shirt on.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cranking it up.
Yeah.
On a steel horse he rides.
And on the back, I'll have this big sign that says, "I'm Travis's dad."
Yes.
So don't mess with me, young man.
Now, don't forget on your denim jacket to roll the sleeves up as well.
Yes.
About halfway.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Chris. 10 o'clock, WCHS Charleston. The news is next. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Brew. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning with the very latest in news, sports, and traffic and weather together. .610 on the Morning Brew, WCHS Talk Radio 58, and a very happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to the Morning Brew, now with 25% less testosterone. You've got Paul Wheeler, Spike Nesmith, and joining us now in the newsroom, our brand spanking new news person, well, new to the mornings anyway, Nicky Walters. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, Nicky.
Thank you. I wouldn't refer to me as spanking, though.
Is there something you want to tell us?
She was up late last night and was here early this morning, so she's going to be a little slap happy today. And Chris Lawrence is here as always, but he's back in the other room. Good morning, Chris. Chris Lawrence is still at the Metro News desk. Now his workload is just decreased tremendously because Nicky is here. Nicky, welcome to the Morning Brew.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Thanks.
I know when you first got to WCHS, I know that you said to yourself, someday, no matter what it takes, I'm going to scratch, I'm going to claw, I'm going to fight, I'm going to maneuver, but someday I'm going to be on the Morning Brew.
I was so looking forward to getting up at 4 in the morning. I've reached my goal.
That wasn't the story I heard. I heard you said, I'm going to claw and I'm going to fight to not ever have to ever be on that show.
I was just trying to paint a nice picture for the listeners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. Well,
But I'm glad to be here nonetheless.
well, it's good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm sure it'll wear off by Friday.
Yeah, if that long.
Yeah.
Coming up on 612, lots of stuff happening today on the Morning Brew, including financial fitness with David Tweel from Prudential Securities. We'll talk with him in the 9 o'clock hour, and we'll talk with him briefly this hour. He'll give us our market preview at about 6:50 or so. Sports is next with Kyle Wiggs, but first, Nicky, what are the news stories we're working on this hour?
Making news this morning, some local doctors say they aren't happy with the state's medical malpractice plan. They say it doesn't go far enough to protect them. Some blue envelopes give Charleston residents a scare, but Mayor Jay Goldman in the Office of Emergency Services gives the all clear. Charleston City Council votes to amend the graffiti bill to give property owners 30 days instead of 10 to clean up their building, and Attorney General Daryl McGraw wants to hold coal companies accountable for overweight coal trucks. More on these stories coming up. I'm Nicky Walters on the Morning Brew.
Thank you, Nicky. It is 6:12 and time for some sports. Here's Kyle Wiggs. Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning. Marshall University's football team will be staying in the Mid-America Conference. The Board of Directors with Conference USA voted Monday to shelve expansion, at least for now. Marshall, in addition, was having problems finding a home for its basketball programs and its Olympic sports. Marshall would have become a member of Conference USA in football only. Conference USA Commissioner Mike Slythe says the league will continue to explore possible expansion. The next time the league's board of directors will meet will be February, so the Thundering Herd staying in the MAC. A West Virginia native on Miami's top-ranked football team will miss the rest of the season. Man high school graduate Chris Harvey, Miami's starting long snapper, will have surgery on his knee today. Miami coach Larry Coker says Harvey was
So, Kyle, how many times have you worked out since Saturday?
worked out.
Yeah, you said the Mountaineers worked out 3 times since Saturday. I just
Okay.
wonder how many times you've worked out since
Well,
Saturday.
I do have an exercise bike in my basement. I think I rode it Sunday. I didn't
Really?
ride it yesterday.
Okay, so you're a little behind the Mountaineers in
I
their
am,
workout
actually.
schedule. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
They're,
you're just
believe me, they're in much better condition than I.
we got one of those exercise bikes recently, And it's just like everything else. You know, you get excited about it and you sit down and you write it, think, wee, this is fun, this is easy. And then after a while, it's just like, I don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it.
Yeah, that's a problem. I have been pretty good on this. We had a treadmill for a while, and that just makes me sore. So I stopped doing that. But I've been pretty good the last month and a half or so on the bike.
Very nice.
Ours is we've got one of those big fans, you know, on the front wheels or the front of it's a great big fan. You pedal it and the fan blows.
Yeah, it cools you off a little bit.
The kids leave their stuff all over the basement, so I try and go as fast as I can to see how far I can blow, like the teddy bear. Or if they leave a coloring book on the floor, I try and blow all the pages. That's kind of a little game with me. See if I can blow things into the pantry.
That's some added fun.
It helps pass the time.
Yeah, sure. You can just go, okay, just a couple more inches, and I'll be out of the room.
So you get it up to 25 miles an hour. Maybe I can blow it a little bit further. Keep pumping.
Whatever motivates you, I guess. That's very nice. Feel free to try that at home, everyone. 7:49 coming up. We don't get a whole lot of Swedish news around here, but have some for you today. A Swedish family got an unpleasant surprise at the bottom of a bag of potato chips. A dead mouse.
Ew.
Layla Axelsson,
It's got me on my knees.
who wondered why the potato chips tasted a bit spicier than usual,
Ugh.
got a little queasy when she made the horrific discovery at the bottom of her chip bag. Quote, "We nearly threw up when we saw it." The family was eating out of the bag of chips.
Okay.
"We nearly threw up when we saw it. Just the thought of having put crisps that came from that bag into my mouth made me ill." Crisps.
That's chips for all you Americans out there.
"They tasted funny and chewy, a bit extra spicy," her daughter Sandra said. Scientists said the little furry critter found in a packet manufactured by Swedish chip maker Estrella looked dried up or fried. It was unclear how the mouse ended up in the bag.
She was then reported to say, "I hate mices to pieces."
Hi, have another chip. Oh.
Uncle Frank, no!
Yep, that's not good. You know, what they failed to read was the big sticker outside. Now, more mice in every bag. You have to watch those kind of things. It's 8:09 on the Morning Brew.
Thanks for waking up with the Morning Brew.
53 in Charleston at 8:19 on the Morning Brew. WCHS Talk Radio 58. If you guys want any fresh coffee, you better go get it now. I mean now. I made a pot, not 10 minutes ago. I made a pot of coffee. Came down, back down here, sat down, did a traffic and weather, went back upstairs, and half the pot was gone. It was just like...
Now, when was this?
This was just about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, well, we're doomed.
Yeah. So
There'll be none left.
Nicky, are you a coffee drinker? I heard the distinct sound of an aluminum can opening this morning, so it sounded like you had some sort of pop or something like that.
Yeah, I'm a Diet Coke kind of person.
Really?
Yeah.
No coffee for you, huh?
Well, I like cappuccino.
Ah.
I'm one of those prissy folk.
You didn't work it into your contract that we have a cappuccino maker in the studio?
I don't think I'm that caliber just yet.
Hey, you're on the Morning Brew now.
Okay, so that gives me more leverage then.
No, it gives you absolutely no leverage, but
Less leverage, actually.
it gives you the least leverage in the entire company. But you could complain about it now because you're on the Morning Brew.
All right.
See, now that you've joined our crew, Nicky, I just thought I'd warn you. We were labeled as the malcontents. You know, we're frowned upon. We're the black sheep of the radio family. So, be prepared.
It's okay to be an outcast. I don't mind.
I rather enjoy it. We kind of have fun with it. But you have no leverage, but you will be heard. So if you want a cappuccino maker, you won't get one, but it'll be fun to complain about it. Maybe you can even get nutty and write a spoof memo about it. That'll definitely...
Oh, no. Now we're going too far.
That'll spread around the company and get you noticed, too. Won't get you liked, but it'll get you noticed.
This is kind of like the radio equivalent of the Reject Island on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, isn't it?
It's the land of the misfit radio people.
That's the one.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we'll just keep the Diet Coke stocked up for you, Nicky.
All right.
No coffee until we get our cappuccino maker.
Then when you're finished, we can hand them over to Sammy Sosa.
I am Sammy Sosa, and I'm recycling aluminum cans in my town for Habitat.
So we know they're going to a good cause at least.
Yes. 8:21 on the Morning Brew. Here's more news with Nicky Walters. And in the wake of all the anthrax scares, stay tuned for our seminar on fun with powdered coffee creamer. That's coming up a little bit later on. But first to Terry in Dunbar. Hi, Terry.
Hey, Paul, how are you this morning?
Okay, how are you, sir?
Good. Hey, did you see the article in the paper, 3 mistaken for squirrels shot in Wayne County?
No, I didn't, but I've heard that story on Metro News this morning. Chris was talking about that.
Oh, all right. I missed Chris talking about it. Only in West Virginia can you? And one was an Australian.
Well, yeah, squirrels.
Yeah, squirrels.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many times I've done that. I mean, I've walked down the hall and shrieked and jumped up in the air, and I thought a squirrel was coming down the hall, and actually it was just a salesperson. Or
Well, you know what I think it was? I think they all had mullets.
That could do it.
Easily confused.
I understand.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Terry.
You know, I think I smell a Morning Brew promo.
The old Kentucky waterfall.
I always like the Canadian passport.
Yes, sir. The soccer rocker. Hockey hair. The Tennessee top hat. Yes, sir. Nothing like a little mullet humor in the morning. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that. 8:30. Metro News is next on the Morning Brew.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. An anthrax scare at popular radio station WWVA in Wheeling turns out to be a hoax, but that didn't make the scare any easier for employees.
Thousands on your radio. Lots of stories this morning about problems with air travel over the weekend. As you can imagine, we've been reporting them almost daily. A plane gets delayed or flight delayed here, diverted here, just weird things going on, paranoia, and just plain goofballs causing problems. And today is no exception. Several stories over the weekend. First off, a story out of Charlotte, North Carolina. A Delta flight from Atlanta to Newark, New Jersey was diverted yesterday after 2 men were seen huddled together and speaking a foreign language in the back of the plane.
Terrorists.
Heaven forbid. Officials at Charlotte Douglas International Airport initially received reports that the men were trying to break into the cockpit, but it turned out to be a couple of Jewish guys praying together in the back of the plane. Yeah, we got one of them newfangled aircraft where the cockpit's in the back, so that way if there's a crash, the pilots are safe. They get hit last. Quote, by the time the plane landed here and our officer got on, the 2 gentlemen were back in their seats. It was a lot about nothing, said Aviation Director Jerry Orr. The plane landed in Charlotte around noon and departed for Newark about 2:30, said Orr. The 2 men were rebooked on a later flight and were, quote, bewildered but not angry, end quote. Well, they're better men than I because I would have been very angry.
Oh, yes.
I would have been furious. 2 Jewish guys praying in the back of a plane that gets turned into terrorists breaking into a cockpit. My gosh, what has become of us? Another good one. 80 passengers and 5 crew members were held aboard a jet for 3 hours after it landed Saturday in San Jose, California, because a passenger said a man had dispersed a powdery substance in the ventilation system. The substance turned out to be confetti from a greeting card that a man had accidentally spilled, said an FBI spokesman.
So he puts it in the ventilation system?
Well, again.
Or did he accidentally spill it near the ventilation
Apparently
system?
he accidentally spilled it.
Okay.
If 2 Jewish guys praying in the back of a plane can be twisted into a couple of terrorists breaking into a cockpit, then a guy spilling confetti from a greeting card can be turned into someone, forcing powdery substance into a ventilation. It's just amazing. One FBI spokesman says, quote, the substance being found in the airplane appears to be nothing more than confetti that spilled out of a greeting card.
Ah,
Now-
that's what the terrorists will have you think, that it's just confetti.
Now we have an airplane on the runway with 80-plus passengers who are not very happy right now, end quote. That's what he said. The man's identity was not released, but Black said the confetti carrier is a longtime San Francisco Bay Area resident,
Yeah, he's a confetti dealer.
now being investigated for making merry.
And it's tomorrow night. That could be the real cold night. Tomorrow night, if skies clear, the wind is going to die away, and temperatures could be below freezing and frosty and freezy for Thursday morning. So all you tender young things, get ready to come over to Paul's house tomorrow night. And he'll keep you warm and protected.
Easy,
Yes, sir.
Doc.
Well, I'm just trying to help, Paul.
Easy.
I'm just trying to help.
Gonna get me in trouble at home now.
Well, it's my job. Thursday afternoon is sunny and it gets a little mild.
You know, just a sort of a test run here. Let's
Okay.
say, for instance, I get a big envelope in the mail with Osama bin Laden's picture on it, and it says, you may already be infected. Would that be one that I would want to call authorities on, you think?
Well, that's not on the list, so I don't know.
Okay.
You know, it's not on the...
If it didn't smell funny or
Yeah.
nothing were protruding from it. I guess you really need to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, but it also says common sense. That's also the warning, so...
Okay.
So common sense applied to Osama bin Laden saying you may already be infected, I'd say, yeah. No, they're going to Joey's tonight, and they said that they'd asked him to do like a remote kind of thing and like pass out stuff, and then they told him, no, we're not that type of operation. I was there for a long time, so I got plenty of information.
A C-SPAN remote at Joey's. That's great.
They wanted him to play the King Tut game like Dave Glenn does over there. It's Voting Women's Wednesday. That's great. Hey, can you guys do some games or something?
Exactly. It's what he told me. He said that's what they wanted him to do.
Ask Tut with Dave Glenn and C-SPAN. That's
I've
awesome.
got coffee up my nose now. You might have waited.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it feels like I'm drowning.
Voting Women's Wednesday. That's great. With music and fun and
Yeah.
all the C-SPAN gang.
And
Well,
if you're
thank
not careful, you might learn something before they're
Before
done.
it's done.
It's the Morning Brew with Paul Wheeler on WCHS Talk Radio 58.
Now, I will give you this. Ma Partridge was definitely hotter than Ma Brady.
Absolutely. I'm hotter than Ma Brady. Now, what constitutes a credible threat as opposed to a non-credible threat? What's the, where do you differentiate? Are they talking about maybe the difference between finding out something through intelligence and someone calling up 3 Mile Island going, I've got a plane and I'm not afraid to use it? You know?
Or maybe the caller ID says cave, comma, Afghanistan.
Yeah, maybe.
Detectives are investigating 2 white people in Britain who they suspect of aiding Osama bin Laden's terror network. Secret Scotland Yard documents obtained by the Telegraph name 2 men, one of whom is understood to be a computer expert as assisting Al-Qaeda's network in this country. 2 white guys. You know what this means?
If this is out of London, then that is a big story. That they're actually going to arrest 2 white guys.
You know what this means?
What?
The next time I get on a plane, if I'm sitting next to a white guy, I'm going to be wondering.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to be wondering, is this guy helping bin Laden's Al-Qaeda network? I'm not going to feel comfortable.
No, definitely not.
I mean, if I'm out shopping at a mall and, I see a white guy, who's maybe acting a little bit strangely, I'm going to be wondering, is this guy part of bin Laden's terrorist network? Is he helping bin Laden? Is he going to do something? If a white guy hands me a suspicious package, That's unsettling.
It's frightening.
But I mean, you have to be vigilant, don't you?
Well, of course.
I mean, you have to be on top of this. You have to pay attention to things like this. It's the first time since September 11th that white non-Muslims have been accused of involvement in Islamic extremism. The documents reveal that a special unit has been established at the yard to carry out, quote, Operation Full Circle, end quote, to monitor the 2 white men and 22 other suspects. All are being investigated to establish whether they have committed terrorist offenses. My wife and I did a little shopping this week, and we went to Kohl's.
Yeah.
We love to shop there. I just love to shop there for clothes and stuff like that. Just wonderful. Lots of fun.
You see, I really don't like it. I literally have to be dragged over the coals.
Thank you. But it was like Christmas. I mean, it was just amazing how crowded that place was, and it must have been. It must have been. There's something we must have missed in the weekly circular.
Yeah.
But I think at Kohl's this weekend it was bring a screaming child, get an extra 15% off day.
Oh, wonderful.
I think that's what it was, because I kid you not. Now, normally you go out shopping, you're going to hear one or two.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. You're going to run into one. A kid who's unhappy because he's not getting the toy, or because he wants to go to the toy store, or because he's hungry, or whatever. You usually hear one, but I kid you not. It was like I could not get away from it. Everywhere I went, in every department I went, there was, and I'm not just talking about a cranky kid who's like, I want to go. I'm talking about a scream at the top of your ever-living lungs kid. I mean, it was just, I felt like I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone, because literally I would turn around and take 3 steps and there was another one. And I would say, and at one point I even said to my wife, I'm going to go over here and look at the Halloween stuff. 2 or 3 steps. Ah! Okay, maybe I won't. And I'll turn right back around. Now let's head over here. Ah! Okay, maybe I won't. I kid you not. It was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, not one, but I mean a store full of them. Unhappy children. And it was just like, at one point my wife said, well, I was going to shop more, but I think it's time to go. So we just headed straight for the registers. But I mean, it was, you always expect one or so. I mean, it's just natural, and you just kind of tune it out. But it was uncanny. Everywhere I turned, there was one of them. And there was one guy, this guy killed me. There was one guy who was trying to have he was trying to reason with his child. He had what looked like to be maybe 3-4-year-old girl there.
Oh, right.
And he was trying to use this lovely parental logic on the kid. Rather than just laying down the law and saying, look, I'm the parent, he was trying to actually win an argument. It was like he was having a debate in Congress with a 3 or 4-year-old because the guy said something like, you already have more toys than any kid in this state. And then the kid's reply was, no, I don't. And then his reply was, yes, you do. And I swear, that guy followed us through 2 departments.
Oh, no.
And for the next 30 seconds, this is what you heard. No, I don't. Yes, you do. 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 I mean,
I didn't
over and over and over.
I didn't think Oscar Wilde was the right sexuality to have children.
I could not believe it.
He must have adopted. I'm sorry.
A place like that is a good place to send like teenagers for birth control.
Yeah.
That worked for me.
My wife made that comment as well. But I swear to you, it was just beautiful. It's like the guy thinking that he's eventually going to win, and the kid's going to say, "Oh, good point, Dad." No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. 8:28 on the Morning Brew.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes,
I got
it
a
is.
shirt. Na, 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 na.
Thanks for waking up with the Morning Brew on WCHS Talk Radio 58.
That he's developing a musical version of Rocky.
Oh, great.
Rocky the Musical. Stallone indicates that he will not star in the show, but he will most likely write the show's dialogue. Of course. The Rocky musical is still in need of someone to write its music, according to Stallone. and casting for the project has yet to begin. I don't reckon Survivor too busy
I'm
these
going
days.
to punch you. I'm going to punch you. I don't know what else you could sing about boxing.
Boys from Brazil?
Sid Caesar.
I just met a girl named Adrian. Adrian. Oh, Rocky the Musical. The mind reels, doesn't it?
Could be worse. It could be Rocky the Ballet. Now that would be entertainment.
Cut me, Mick. Cut me, Mick. That's great. Oh my gosh. Well, I'll be first in line for that one. I think that, the world has waited this long for a show to surpass Cats, to be the longest running show on Broadway, and I believe Rocky can do it.
Yeah.
I think Rocky is it.
It's going to run longer than Cats and the Mousetrap combined.
Yes.
It'll run till the end of time.
Boy, thank you, Sylvester Stallone. I appreciate that. Would someone send him a very large puzzle with very small pieces, just to preoccupy him for a while? Maybe by the time he gets to the end of the puzzle, he'll have forgotten all about this. I'll say, it's actually kind of fun.
Here's hoping.
7 o'clock, WCHS Charleston, Talk Radio 58. The news is next on the Morning Brew. Stay with us. There.
The head trauma is still affecting.
Steve Young, we're gonna have to pull you off the show and just put you in the broadcast booth.
Put me on the bench.
You can just sit back and comment on everything going on. That was a neat little video gaming machine sound there.
I have several of them. I stuck it right down the speaker and got that. I did that while I had the head injury too.
That's great.
So it was very amusing that day.
So you have several different cuts?
Yes.
Well, can we hear a few more?
Well, give me just a second.
Okay, take your time.
All right.
I don't want to rush you or anger you. I don't want you to.
Okay, here's one.
Okay.
Okay, one more.
I feel like I'm buying gas.
Okay, here's the other one.
That was great. That was the best one, I think.
And the great thing about it was they were demonstrating it to me, and it was like every time you won.
Oh, of course.
Because they were just on display, so every time you won, it was great.
Of course.
Absolutely great, and it didn't cost anything to play. Just stand there and push the buttons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, of course, no money came out when you won either.
That's true. Too bad. So you didn't have any of the loser sounds on there, huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, wah, wah, wah. See, I can make my own sound effects.
You're like a one-man grey machine. They should use those free ones to treat depression victims. Just put them in a room with all these winning machines and
all the happy noises.
Turn them loose. Yeah, exactly.
That's very cool. And that guy was rattling off a whole lot of different games. So on one machine, you can play all these different games.
Yeah, I think he said 9, maybe more than that games on, and there's like 5 different variations of Keno. And there's this.
Why wouldn't there be?
There's this one that's about a dog, like it's something about a dog, like the doghouse. And I swear I stood there for 10 minutes. You can listen to this whole thing while we went through it, waiting on the dog to bark. And he was so excited for me to hear the dog to bark when you hit the jackpot. Mm-hmm. So I had to listen to it, just regular winning like 50 times, and then we finally got the dog to bark.
Was it pretty anticlimactic, or were you?
Yeah, I didn't even put it in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't even think enough of the dog to record him.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, that's great. They don't get Pac-Man on that thing, do they?
No.
Or Dig Dug or anything fun like that?
No.
Okay, just checking. 7:27 on the Morning Brew.
Going outside in the costumes.
Where are you going to be this year?
I'm not sure.
What do you like about Halloween?
It's about the apple.
Huh?
It's about the apple.
Yeah?
I like the candy.
All right.
We gotta get a candy thing so you can put treats in it.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
It's an elephant. Happy Halloween. I like all the candy.
Where are you going to be this year?
Poison Ivy off of Batman.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
A witch.
Like what kind of candy is your favorite thing?
I like it all.
And that's a look at what's making news this hour. I'm Nicky Walters on the Morning Brew.
You know, it's all about the apple.
It's all about the apple, baby.
Don't ask me. I asked him what?
Did you get clarification on that later on?
No, he was really little, and we were standing it was at Capital Market where I did these interviews, and we were standing among a bunch of apples, and I think maybe he meant to say pumpkins. Maybe that was a little too tough to say, so he just said it's all about the apples.
Or maybe he was thinking about bobbing for apples.
I don't know.
Or maybe he was thinking about the poisoned apple on Snow White.
I hope not. Poor
frightening.
thing.
Yeah. Having nightmares about that. Halloween. It's all about the apple. That's great. Whew. That's a great quote. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. 7:25 on WCHS, Talk Radio 58. Partly sunny today with a nice afternoon, a high of 64. 36 in Charleston on the Morning Brew. It's all about the apple. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for
Mr. Lawrence, you don't hand out change, do you?
My worst Halloween story.
Uh-oh.
My first year as a out on my own independent guy.
Yeah.
Bachelor City.
Yes.
I got like the wire spool as a coffee table.
Yeah.
I've got lots of ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise, and that's it in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
Get home from work. I was working in Morgantown. It was my first year here.
Yeah.
I didn't think about trick-or-treating. None of that stuff even came up. Got home from work, right about the time they're starting. Door starts pounding. And I always knew to turn the porch light off, except that stupid landlord had a dusk to dawn light out there, and I couldn't turn it off. They're coming up. They're asking for stuff. I started giving them change. Ran out. I lived in a very populated area of Morgantown.
Uh-huh.
And then finally, I passed out all of my soft drinks that I had. I was handing out cans of pop. And the last few kids that came up went home with, and I am not making this up, a cucumber. I had cucumbers in the refrigerator. I'm handing out fresh produce. And I heard one of them is going, good Lord. What's up with this guy?
It's an On the Garden Line Halloween with Chris Lawrence.
I think the last kid I probably should have just said, just take the neighbor's pumpkin. They don't care. They don't need it anymore. I didn't have a pumpkin.
He's handing out produce. That's great.
It was the worst.
Imagine the look on their faces when they get home and their parents are like,
Who gave you this and why?
I wonder if any of them were actually eaten, or if they just threw them all
who
away.
knows?
Was it a brand name cucumber? Was it securely wrapped?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to bring some cucumbers tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. I'll just hand those out at the door.
That'd be good. Thank you.
That was like the Halloween equivalent of a bad poker game, isn't it?
That's so funny. Yeah, I thought change was bad.
Fresh produce, man.
Oh, man.
Cucumbers, peppers, what have you. Here's an onion. Have an onion.
Here's a tip. In a pinch, hand out bouillon cubes. It looks like little caramels. And just watch the little faces when they chew one of those bad boys up. 7:47 on the Morning Brew. Here's sports with Kyle. Good morning, Kyle.
Thanks, and good morning.
You're listening to the Morning Brew
It's about the apple.
on WCHS Talk Radio 58.
6:58 on the Morning Brew. Happy Halloween to you. Although trick or treat was last night, we're still celebrating Halloween today. Spike's passing out candy. Everyone's dressed up. It's a lot of fun.
All the best parties are still going at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in this morning. Maybe you're cleaning up from last night's party. I don't know. But today is dress up day here at WCHS Radio. Everyone in our building is going to be they were invited. We were all invited to dress up. Now, not everybody will. Stephen Reed just came in khakis and a button-up Oxford, so he's not dressed up. Chris Lawrence isn't dressed up, but Spike, Nikki, and I are all dressed up. We're having a good time. I already had the funniest experience. You know how when you dress up, you get funny reactions from people.
Yeah.
You get double takes and things like that. I was sitting in my office reading my paper, and I'm dressed up in my Star Trek uniform from the original series. I got a red Star Trek shirt on and everything, and it's very obvious when you look at it, like, oh, Star Trek, wow. Or even if you don't know what it is, it looks goofy. So I'm sitting in the office reading my paper. I got the paper sitting on the desk. I'm sitting up reading, and Anthony, our beloved overnight guy, walks by, and I'm like, okay, here it comes. Here comes the first double take. So he looks, and he goes, hey, Paul, and he stops, and he kind of backs up and does the double take, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, here it comes. And he said, you got a haircut. And I said, totally shocked, I said, well, yes, I did. Because, as a matter of fact, I got one yesterday. He said, oh, getting it cut short. And he just walked on by. 7 o'clock, WCHS Charleston.
Radio 58.
Thank you very much, Kyle. 8:50 on the Morning Brew. Mostly sunny and cooler today. A high of only 56. 56 tomorrow, and then 64. Again, a little bit warmer on Wednesday. Paul Wheeler, Spike Nesmith, Nicky Walters with you. Spike and I were just talking off the air a little bit more about that flag burning story. It's just sitting here thinking about this, and I've thought about this for some time, but never really brought it up. I never really examined it closely, but I'd like to know the origins of burning things for protest. We were talking about the flag burning story and how it's constitutionally protected. But I was telling Spike off the air, say tomorrow China gets a little nutty and bombs Florida, the entire Florida peninsula just separated from the continent, floating out or sinking. Everyone in Florida dead or destroyed. Okay, yes, I would be a little angry, to put it mildly. Yes, I would be pretty anti-China at that point. But the last thing on my mind would be to, A, run out and acquire a flag of China, a Chinese flag, and B, to go out in the street somewhere and set fire to it. I just wonder why that's such a popular form of protest, burning things, burning, effigies or burning flags. I mean, no matter how anti a certain country I was, or maybe if I were mad at our country for some reason, the last thing I would think of was, gosh, I think I'll burn a flag. That'll show them. I mean...
Well, I guess it's popular for the same reason that Britney Spears is a popular artist. We're not dealing with the intelligent people here.
Yeah, I guess.
I
guess that would be it. But...
instead of getting mad and go and do something about it, you go and make some empty protest that's going to get you on the news.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. People in this country burning flags, it's like, I guess it's just not as sexy to go and vote, is it?
Well, not like that makes any difference. Look at the last election.
Well, you have to know how to vote. Probably some of the same people.
Yeah,
if you know how to vote, if you know what you're doing, it'll make a difference. That's for sure. But yeah, I guess it's just not as it doesn't draw attention to yourself. But I mean, when I see video, you see somebody in Pakistan or something like that, or Afghanistan burning an American flag, it doesn't bother me. I guess it bothers some people, but it's like, well, go ahead. That's fine. Ouch. I don't know. I just wonder why people do that. Why people go out and burn things. I guess because it gets people excited. Some people get mad about it, but
everybody likes a good fire.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I enjoy fire as much as the next guy. I love campfires, love barbecuing, love bonfires. But just, if I were mad at a country and I wouldn't spend my money to go out and buy a flag, then set it on fire. Well, I showed them, and kind of dust off my hands and walk back in the house and say, take that. Gotcha. That's big deal. Go ahead. Save your matches in case there's a power outage. 8:53 on WCHS, Talk Radio 58. News coming up at 8 o'clock. Joining us now in the studio, the one and only Chris Lawrence.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning, Chris.
Hello, Spike.
Good morning.
Yes, we have the Hank theme, which is that weird song y'all pulled out of somewhere.
Yeah.
This is going to have to become the Savannah Sue theme.
Oh, really?
Oh. Let me tell you about the world's newest football fan.
Oh.
2 months old.
Was she gigged up over Monday Night Football last night?
Oh, man. Now, not Monday Night Football, because we didn't watch that.
The Raiders.
The Raiders. But college football on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or pro games on Sunday.
Yes.
Or yesterday, she and I were sitting there watching NFL films. Oh, man. You talk about somebody who sits up and takes notice.
She was born Savannah Sue Lawrence. And on a cold day in November, she would watch more football than any human being alive.
Taking her first crawl across the frozen tundra toward the cabinet at the base of the kitchen sink. Playing like the hogs of the Redskins of old.
She tore up the fresh linoleum. So she's a big football fan,
Oh, my
eh?
goodness. She'll be whining, and she doesn't whine and cry much at all, just when she's hungry. That's about it. It's the only time she ever even whimpers.
Kind of like us.
Perfect baby.
Yeah.
Unlike you. But she's just a perfect child. She sleeps all night. She only cries when she's hungry, for the most part. Mm-hmm. Gets a little fretful then, and as long as you feed her, then she's over it. But, man, she's getting to the point now that she's trying to talk. She can't quite get the words out.
Kind of like Raiders fans.
Kind of like Spike, actually.
Okay.
No, she's past that point. No, she'll sit there, and she has this very soft voice. See, I'm used to boys. You know, she's the first girl. I mean, the boys. Hank, he was screaming, and she'd go, "Ah!" Savannah sounds more like a gentle dove, cooing in the breeze. Until the theme. When she hears the Monday Night Football theme, it's like, oh, look out. She will roll up. She hasn't learned to roll over yet. But we'll put her in the floor, and she gets aggravated if you put her with her back to the TV, because she will crane her neck almost all the way around to her hind end to see the football game.
That's great.
And will watch the football game intensely. And, I mean, there's no better babysitter than, football.
Well, how perfect for you.
Oh, and how unperfect for my wife, who's like wanting to raise this dainty little shopping girl that she can bake cookies and stuff with. Nope, she's sitting over there on Daddy's lap going,
She's wanting her to watch Bob the Builder, and she's like, forget this, man. Give me a little Packers-Viking action.
Yeah, let me see Brett Favre. Now, yesterday they had the one on, and they had mic'd up Randy Moss.
Yes.
And
on the NFL
on
films.
the NFL films. And it was hilarious because Moss is prancing around, and he goes, Brett Favre, I got to see this. And he stands up and comes running over, and she's just looking.
That's great. Congratulations. That's
amazing.
awesome.
Well, Hank's more into baseball.
Yeah.
Travis could care less about sports. He wants to hunt and fish. I finally, after 3 tries, have got a football fan in the family.
Great. Good for you.
Third time's a charm.
Let me tell you.
Now you can quit trying. now you can rest.
Well, I'm going to eventually figure out what's causing all this and quit it.
7:57 on the Morning Brew.
We're waking up with you. Enjoy the morning brew.
Paul Wheeler, Spike Nesmith, Nicky Walters, and joining us now from TechTV, host of the Screensavers, Leo Laporte.
Hey,
Mr.
how
Laporte,
are you?
good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm back out in California, so it's only about 5 in the morning here.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We
No.
heard it was going to be an early one for you.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. It's funny to listen to a traffic report at 5 in the morning and hear all that traffic.
Of course, out there, traffic's probably just as bad at 5 as it is here at 8.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, are you kidding? It's horrible.
Oh, I bet.
It's horrible.
So you're coming to Charleston this Saturday.
I know. I'm so excited.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Charleston Town Center Mall on Saturday from noon to 2.
Yeah.
And those folks at Charter are bringing us out, which is nice.
Yeah. Now, are you going to be, are you looking for people to just kind of line up and, ask you computer questions, or are you kind of like off the clock? You're just like
today, you bet.
I just want to talk to people. I just want to say hi. I don't want to answer any questions about.
No, don't ask questions
about
well,
Windows
it depends how many
XP.
people show up. Sometimes we get so many people showing up that it is kind of like that. I hate to say it. We're moving them through pretty quickly, but
yeah.
I think I love to meet people, and we have so much fun.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of geeks in the Charleston area. So.
Oh well, I consider myself one of them.
Are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Although I don't, can you honestly call yourself a geek if you don't have Windows XP on your computer yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
In fact, a true geek would not even go anywhere near Windows XP.
Is that right?
Oh no, they'd be using Linux or something like that.
Oh well, that's a good point. That's a
yeah.
good
I
point,
mean, that's a hardcore geek.
Yeah. Real quickly, what do you think of Windows XP?
You know, I'm sitting right in front of it right now, and I hate to admit it. You know, it's a tough thing to say Microsoft's done a good product, but they actually have done a pretty good product.
Really? So you give it the thumbs up, huh?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's about time that they made a version of Windows that didn't crash every 5 minutes.
No, that's true.
And this doesn't. And it's the interface is a little pretty. It's a little I call it the Fisher-Price interface.
Yeah.
Big buttons, lots of color.
Pretty.
But you can tune that out. You can turn it off. And,
My First Windows by Fisher-Price. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why they went that way. You know, they get a little when you do a search, they get a little dog that comes out and barks at you, puts his paw prints on the screen. Microsoft still thinks, I think, that users, I don't know, are 12 and want that. I don't understand because they keep pushing this stuff on users, and users keep going, ugh. I don't want it.
Yeah, Leo Laporte is our guest from TechTV, host of the Screensavers. Leo, how long have you been hosting the Screensavers?
TechTV is kind of it's like the Food Network for computer geeks.
Right.
And we started about 3.5 years ago, but I've been doing this kind of thing for over a decade.
Really?
Yeah, first on radio in the early 90s, and then on TV for about the last 7 years.
Mm-hmm. That's great. What were you doing in radio, by the way?
Oh, God, I've been in radio, Paul, probably longer than you have. I've been doing it for 25 years. I was a DJ in the early days when I still had the illusion that when you played music, people wanted to hear you talk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then when I figured out that they really didn't want you to talk, I went to talk radio because I wanted to talk.
Yeah.
And I kind of started focusing on technology in '90.
Yeah.
And the computer's been very, very good to me. Right when they started to take off, my timing was excellent.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what do you do to stay, to keep abreast of all the latest computer stuff? I mean, it has to be mind-boggling. I mean, it's just all the new products, new software, new hardware. I mean, are you just surrounded by it day and night, or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fun. First of all, I mean, this is not work. This is a hobby for me. I love this stuff. But also the sheer terror of not keeping up is a good input, kind of goad to keep you going. Because we answer, questions on the show.
Right.
Live audience questions all the time. And, then invariably people will ask me stuff I don't know. And so I go, oh, geez, I don't know. And I better find that out. So doing it is really the best way to keep up with it. Just do it day in, day out. And it is hard. I have to say, I don't know if it's me getting older or this stuff growing faster, but it's harder and harder to keep up. I'm so tired.
It'll be
exhausted.
Maybe you'll be ready to retire and sit down and play with your Fisher-Price Windows.
I often dream of that, and I know a lot of computer journalists who do get to that point where they're just so burnt out. They said, "I can't look at another computer."
Yeah. Well,
I say this is if you're going to pick an area to cover as a journalist, there's no better area. First of all, nobody dies. Second of all, it is fascinating and it's changing the world.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff it's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't get anthrax through an email virus just yet.
Can't. I mean, I don't. I've done general news coverage, and it's very hard because sometimes the stories are sad, they're tough.
Yeah.
But I'm in the toy store here. I get to play with stuff, and boy, it couldn't be more fun. I mean, even when bad things happen, like companies go out of business, nobody dies.
Well, you look like you're having fun on the Screensavers all the time.
You've seen the show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Spike's seen it too. I mean, yeah, we're there. We're right with you.
Yeah. Oh, we love it. I don't know what channel it's on in your area.
It's I think the number is on it is 69 on TechTV.
Okay.
On the charter.
So hey, that's good. We're kind of on analog then. That's nice. Well, a lot of times we're on digital cable, which means we're on channel 474.
Well, it's digital cable. It's just a nice low number for everybody.
I love it.
Make it easy on everybody.
We're also on DirecTV and Dish. I shouldn't say that. Charter's going to hate me.
Well, that's okay.
Our owner, the company, the guy who owns TechTV is Paul Allen, who also owns Charter Cable.
Absolutely.
So I'm coming out there for Uncle Paul's company.
Well, you'll get a nice little letter from him then.
He hates it when I say that.
So you'll be here. You'll be at Saturday at the Charleston Town Center Mall from noon to 2, correct?
Noon to 2.
Okay, very good.
And I hope everybody will come out and say hi. I'd love to see you too, Paul.
I'd love to meet you, Leo. I'd
Great.
want to try to make it out there. Will this be your first trip to Charleston?
It is.
Okay.
Anything I should know ahead of time?
Try the hot bologna, and/or a thundering herd from Tudor's. Those are my two recommendations.
Would you combine the Thundering Herd and the hot bologna?
Well, actually, you could get Thundering Herd and hot bologna at Tudor's, as a matter of fact. So you could eat one, and put one in the fridge and microwave it a little bit later. I don't know. But,
All right.
yeah, go for the hot bologna. Trust me on that one, Leo. All right?
I believe you.
Leo Laporte, thanks a million for joining us today.
Take care, guy.
Look forward to seeing you Saturday.
All right.
Bye-bye. Leo Laporte from the Screensavers. Guy just as nice as I thought he'd be. He just seems like a nice guy when you watch the show. And he is. So join him and Charter Communications this Saturday, noon to 2 at Towns Center Mall. Should be pretty neat. 8 o'clock, WCHS Charleston. The news is next.
The Indigo Lounge is now alcohol-free. After an order from the State Alcohol Beverage Control Administration, the bar's liquor license has been taken away after up to 150 teens were served alcohol at a private party. State regulators say kids as young as 12 were served alcohol. Officials say teens were also allowed to smoke pot in a special VIP room for forking over an extra $15. The bar's owner, James Poindexter, will have a hearing in 30 days to see if the license should be taken away for good. And that's a look at what's making news this morning. I'm Nicky Walters on the Morning Brew.
Kids as young as what? 12?
12, yeah.
Smoking pot?
Yeah. Brew.
Kids as young as 12 boozing it up. And this was a party for teens, right? I mean, it was a teen party. A couple of teens.
Some high school students.
They reserved some space and came in, and they were letting 12-year-olds in to booze it up, do a little toke every now and then.
They started all these teens-only clubs around town, and, what's the point? How many kids are going to go to that when they can go to this, for crying out loud? I mean, how many kids are going to go to the alcohol-free one?
Yeah, when you can get booze and pot.
Yeah, for $15.
And then
Jeez.
I love the part, too. I was looking at this story, and there's a report from one mother who told inspectors that she found her 14-year-old daughter vomiting in a trash can at the bar when she came to pick her up. That's just great. That's what you want as a mom. You're driving up in the minivan.
Oh, yeah.
The soccer ball rolling around in the back. You've got your PTA literature there in front and a couple of casserole dishes from the last church function in the back of the minivan. And you roll open the door and, honey, are you ready to come home? Just a minute, Mom.
If it weren't for that water, I could handle that a little bit more. But it's the water that's pushing me over the edge.
Oh.
My gag reflex is going off here just listening to that.
But who doesn't know? I mean, if you're a bar owner or even somebody who works there, like a waitress or somebody or waiter, who doesn't see? I mean, I can almost understand mistaking like an 18 or 19-year-old for somebody who's 21. I mean, it's dark, it's smoky. If you're not doing a good job of checking IDs already, I can see that where you can say, "Oh, we didn't know they were too young." But a 12-year-old does not look like a 21-year-old. How could you not see them coming in or walking around or tipping a pint or
no matter how much makeup they tart themselves up with
or working a butt?
Yeah.
I mean, just because you show your midriff doesn't mean you're old enough to drink. And I just don't understand how they allowed that to happen.
9 times out of 10, if you show your midriff, then that's the evidence that you need that you're not old enough to drink.
Yeah, that's just amazing. 12-year-olds.
Well, what I want to know is, did the extra $15 cover the drugs, or did you have to pay extra for them when you went in, or did they just have one that they passed around?
I mean, was it like an all-you-can-smoke kind of thing?
Yeah, sort of like the pot buffet.
I don't know. Nicky, you can check into that for us.
Yeah.
Find out what the Indigo pot buffet goes for.
$15 for, all you can inhale. That's a good deal.
You just wonder, though, if you walk in there and see a couple of 12-year-olds sitting back going, now, which do you think is faster, speed buggy or speed racer? And the other one's go, oh, it's got to be speed racer.
So do you think the cheap kids were standing outside the door, like, inhaling the secondhand stuff for free?
If they have any sense.
They were playing Pokemon in the corner and got a contact buzz. 8:27 on WCHS. Now it's time for a little Hank story.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend.
joining us in the studio, Hank's best friend and father, Chris Lawrence. Good
Yes,
morning, Chris.
indeed.
How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm a little sleepy.
I understand.
Travis has 2 big tests today.
Uh-oh. So you were up studying for them.
Yeah. I think I know more now about ancient Egypt than I knew even when I was studying it in school.
Really? It's Chris Hotep.
Is that how you pronounce that?
What?
Is that the woman Pharaoh Hastapat or something like that?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, there was a woman Pharaoh. There was one, and it was really a strange story of incestual relations within the royal family.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You need to consult with our good friend Raymond Bonwell from Prudential Securities. He is wise in the ways of Egypt.
Is he?
Yeah, he really is.
Well, it was, I know far more than I ever needed to know about it now.
Ah.
But, and also, when you don't use things, you lose them.
Mm-hmm.
And when he has a math test today, and basically I've had to relearn how to divide using point this and point that.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a good line on him last night. His mind tends to wander around this time of year. He goes, "Hey, Dad," he's in his room studying. He goes, "Hey, Dad, my bus driver said he saw an 8-point buck." I said, "You don't need to be worrying about 8-point. Worry about 0.8. Good line if I do say so myself.
Very nice.
But anyway, with Hank, I love my 3 kids so dearly, and they're growing up so fast. I just cherish every moment I'm with them because they're not going to be this young long. And he and I were going somewhere the other day, and I just looked at him and I said, and I call him my little man. That's what my name is for him. I said, "Hey," I said, "I don't want you to grow up. I want you to stay 5 and be my little man forever." And he looked me dead in the eye. And he said, "Can we go to Subway?"
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, timing. Nothing like an emotional father's moment to make you think of a bologna sandwich.
You can feel the love, couldn't you?
Oh, man. You could feel it when I said, "Yeah, sure." Oh, man.
And so Nikki was telling us earlier, she's coming up with the news in just a moment, but Nikki was telling us earlier that Cleo called her yesterday, which is pretty exciting. And Nikki, you probably shouldn't have been so quick to hang up.
Is she going to curse me or what?
No, she may have been trying to help you fight terrorism.
Please.
Now, get this. This is a story from the Sunday Times, the London Times. And it reports that U.S. intelligence agencies are recruiting psychics to help predict future attacks and to find Osama bin Laden.
Don't make me send you to the cave.
The recruits, known as remote viewers, claim to be able to visualize happenings in distant places by using paranormal powers. Now, according to...
So what are they going to do? They're going to sit down and say, "I see bin Laden. He is in a cave."
According to the Sunday Times, the U.S. government established a remote viewing program. That's program with 2 M's and an E, by the way, since it's the Times. Known as Stargate in the 1970s in an attempt to utilize the skills claimed by psychics to combat communism. The program at the Stanford Research Institute in California was shut down in '95 after the end of the Cold War. Now, however, says the Times, U.S. intelligence agencies are reactivating some of their old paranormal spies. That's great. So, Nikki, Cleo could have been calling you to warn you about something.
And here I missed out.
Cleo knows you do the news, and the thousands of people every day hear your newscast. She was probably calling to issue a warning.
See, now that's scary.
She could be part of the Stargate program.
Oh, dear.
Hey, it's in the cards.
Psychics are fine, but Miss Cleo is not.
Who's the one with the dark hair now? You want to avoid him today.
The man with the beard and the gun. You're laughing now. You know what I'm talking about.
And let's talk about where you were at lunch yesterday, girl. Yes, I know. Cleo knows. 7:20 on the Morning Brew. Let's get back to the newsroom.
I'm Nicky Walters on the Morning Brew.
So what was the name of that restaurant where the accident happened?
The American Grill.
The American Grill. So
It's like right there across from the mall in the Marriott.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Yeah.
And somebody just drove right through the window, huh? After an accident.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of went out of control and went in there. The guy said the only people in the restaurant was like two ladies, and they were way in the back, so they didn't get hurt.
Oh. Well, to speak well for that restaurant. I hope it was an off time of day.
Yeah, well, it was 5 o'clock. He said that was a downtime. So.
Okay. The two ladies are just sitting there eating. All of a sudden, what's that commotion up front? Well, there's a Jeep in here.
Well, now, who did that?
Who let the Jeep in here? Excuse me, could you close that window? I feel a draft.
I'm a little cold.
Could you reheat this steak? It's a little underdone. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's a nice Jeep. It's very nice. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Probably look more like the Blues Brothers movie than a NASCAR race, though, when they're driving through the mall. Remember that?
This place has everything.
Yeah. Look, baby clothes. Did you ever see that movie, Nikki?
No.
What?
No.
Oh. New Oldsmobiles are in early this year. You have to see it. She's looking at me like, no, I don't want to. He broke my watch. 6:28 on the Morning Brew.
I keep forgetting I'm not in love anymore.
You know what we need to do?
I'm gonna be there.
We need to go on eBay and find a Michael McDonald concert shirt to wear.
Oh, yes.
Michael McDonald. That's awesome. That is classic. Michael McDonald.
Now he's even talking divorce.
9 o'clock WCHS Charleston.
Vicky B.
Vicky Scaff from Rite Aid, that is. And we'll have Ask the Pharmacist with Vicky Scaff in just a few moments.
Have you ever tried to explain our unhealthy obsession with Michael McDonald?
No, but I probably should someday.
Mrs. Spike just doesn't. It just goes straight past her. She's like, I don't get it. And I said, I think only me and Paul do.
I explained it to my wife, and she just kind of went, oh.
Oh.
But she laughs at his voice, too, so it's okay.
CBS me here.
At 9 o'clock. It's Nicky Walters, along with the cast of thousands. Good morning, kids.
Morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone this morning?
As they say in Klingon, back.
Bless you.
That's one of the two bits of Klingon that I learned.
Uh-huh.
In my wide and varied life.
Really?
One was hootback, and the other one was torchach.
Ah, now I like eating at Hubach Steakhouse. They have some pretty good deals.
Did you have the hootback spatial?
Spatial? I sure did. I think I ordered the torchach with ranch one time. It's pretty tasty. Now, what do those two phrases mean, Mr. Worf?
One is something I can't repeat. The other one is basically just a nasty noise, as far as I know. It's been like 8 or 9 years.
Okay, so which one describes how you are today? The one you can't repeat?
That would be, yeah.
Okay.
Hootback.
So you're not doing very well.
I'm all right, really.
Okay.
In comparison, you know.
Okay. All right. You just didn't know the Klingon for I'm doing all right in comparison, really.
Yeah, I never got that far in the tape.
That's good.
I eventually just sort of took it out the machine and I went, I can't believe I'm learning Klingon, and gave it back to my mum.
Did you really have a tape?
Yeah.
What?
My mum bought it because she's a big Star Wars fan.
Star Trek, you mean?
Star Trek fan.
There you go. Klingons haven't made it to the Death Star yet.
Oh, but they will.
If they did, buddy, if the Klingons ever teamed up with the Empire,
oh boy,
then Jedis or not,
they'd be kicking some serious hootback.
The Republic would be in trouble.
Let me tell you, the torchach would hit the fan.
Thank you very much. See, as our Spanish Klingon friends would say.
Wouldn't that be see?
See. Yeah. Nikki, how are you this morning?
I'm fine.
I keep forgetting today is Take Your Daughter to Work Day. And I
keep forgetting. Take your daughter to work day.
I went upstairs to grab my lovely breakfast out of the fridge, and one of the sales guys up there has this little girl with him. I'm like, what the? Oh, it's Take Your Daughter to Work Day. You just don't expect that in the workplace. So.
And the most hilarious thing about it is that this is the day after we got a memo saying, please don't bring your children to work. No pets and no kids, please.
Did we really get one?
Yeah. Did you not read it yet?
I haven't checked my box yet. I don't check my mailbox before the show starts because I just don't like bad news before the show. Because 9 times out of 10 when there's a memo in my box, it makes me angry or makes me sad. So and I don't want to go into the show with that type of attitude. I don't want to be angry or sad until after the show.
I don't have my copy anymore. I must have moved it. But
okay.
Yeah, there was a memo yesterday. Well, here it is. We all know that a safe professional environment is something we strive to achieve. Recently, there's been an increase in visitors, guests, children, and even pets.
Oh, dear.
West Virginia Radio Corporation does not offer childcare facilities as its operation. It's not conducive to having children present. So, in an environment that is fast-paced and requires enormous focus, it's impossible to think that we can watch our children while we're working. Children are visitors, and visitor guidelines apply as well to them as well as any guest. They must. Well, this is maybe
So today is Take Your Daughter
this
to
is
Work
today's
Day.
day. I know this is
hilarious.
and this was from yesterday. What you need to check the book at the front because it says that they must follow visitor guidelines, and it is during office hours. So we need to check if they've checked in at the front desk and come during normal business hours. Okay, 8 till 5. Yeah. Visitors are not permitted in the studio with any performing talent for any longer period than 10 minutes. That doesn't apply to us because we're neither performing nor talent. Visitors that are not conducting business should be limited to 20 minutes during normal business hour. Monday to Friday, 8 till 5. No visitors after hours. So there you go.
Okay.
In order to keep our environment clean, safe, and operational, pets are not permitted in the premises at any time. So I'm expecting my pink slip sometime today.
Why is that?
Because I'm a pet.
Oh, okay. I thought you had George with you in there, and I didn't know about it yet.
No.
Okay.
Lone Star, it's time to go home.
Now, of course, the next memo issued by management is going to say this is not to be read on air. So you just got us in trouble once again.
Shh.
Thank
Quiet.
you very much.
Quiet back there.
You're listening to the Morning Brew on WCHS Talk Radio 58.
Think the economy's bad in West Virginia. How about Bangladesh? Hungry people in Bangladesh gathered at sewage ponds. Yes, I said sewage ponds. Floating with dead fish Saturday, ignoring warnings from authorities who poisoned the fish for fear it could be toxic to humans. Authorities used a chemical derived from an herb to kill nearly 6 tons of feesh at a sewage treatment plant on the outskirts of Bangladesh. However, the fishermen hired by the plant to net and bury the fish were unable to finish the task by the end of Saturday. So a bunch of people ran to the sewage plant to collect as much feesh as they could.
Okay, I missed the start. This is in the Kanawha River, right?
No, we don't need to add any herbs in the Kanawha River to kill the fish. Yeah. They're toxic enough as it is.
I'm Nicky Walters on the Morning Brew.
So a global positioning satellite receiver in a van sparked the evacuation of an entire building.
Yeah.
This is what you're telling me. Little edgy, aren't we? Little on edge.
But he said he was from out. That the reason why he had stuff taped all over his van is because he was from out of town. Why don't you get a map?
Yeah.
What did he have?
Buy a $3.99 map.
Yeah, just get a map and save us having to shut down freaking Charleston, if you don't mind.
What exactly did he have taped all over his windshield?
A global positioning system.
I mean, it was. So what's the big deal?
I get.
They have those in a lot of cars now. Is this just this because it was a homemade rig?
I would
a home
imagine
setup?
so. I think probably the fact that it was something stuck on the front of the windshield, probably
with tape,
probably with duct tape, yeah,
Yeah.
and wires going back into the car. That probably raised a few alarm
and
bells.
it was a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, there's no such thing as a car bomb. It's always a van bomb.
It's always a van bomb. Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the bombs in vans, or isn't the reason that people usually carry bombs in vans is so they can fit it in the back of the van and not have to have it taped to the windshield?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But
right.
I don't know. Maybe they thought it was going to be like a temperature trigger, so it reaches a certain temperature and then
I guess so.
blow up or something like that. But
I guess so.
yeah, I thought it was some kind of parade. You know how happy I am when they close down basically half of Charleston so they can have some half-wit parade up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what it was, because I was coming down Virginia Street, got turned away at Court Street, and I didn't know what was going on, and I turned back onto the boulevard, which was also blocked at that point, and there was a bunch of people lining up just at the Riverfront Park, and I thought, oh, this is fantastic. They closed down Charleston again. They don't put up any diversion signs again, just so some slack-jawed yokels can watch a guy go past in the back of a car. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
But it turned out it was legitimate this time, so my swear fest was unwarranted. But it was good fun, though.
I guess. All right. Well, just be sure you don't have anything taped to your windshield before you drive to work. We don't want to cause a panic. People are a little on edge these days.